Another beautiful Grenadian morning and lots of smiling faces. That's good to see. This morning, I'd like to welcome our guest, Dr. E. Sarah Bailey, our keynote speaker, Mr. Elvis Morant, Permanent Secretary, the Ministry of Agriculture, Dr. Charles Modica, SGU Chancellor, Dr. Richard Olds, President, Dr. Glenn Jacobs, Provost, Mr. Brendan LeGrand, Vice Provost for Institutional Advancement, Dr. Anthony Andal, Assistant Provost, Dr. C.V. Rao, Dean of Students, and Dean Margaret Lambert, the Dean and Vice President of Enrollment Services. Dr. Dean Olson, the Dean of the School of Veterinary Medicine, Dr. Lucy Eugene, Dean of the School of Arts and Sciences, Dr. Kyman Cummings, Chief Veterinary Officer, Ministry of Agriculture, Mr. Bob Ryan, the Dean of Recruitment and Admissions, and our faculty and staff, any specially invited guests, parents, students, ladies and gentlemen. I'd also wish to acknowledge all the St. George's University School of Veterinary Medicine faculty and graduates that are present. Would you please stand? Thank you. I'm Dr. Thomas Hansen. I'm the radiologist at the Wisconsin Veterinary Referral Center. We have 3 emergency and specialty hospitals in the greater Milwaukee area, and I'll guarantee you it is not 80 degrees back home in Wisconsin. Really happy to be here. I'm also a St. George's graduate, School of Vet Medicine, class of 2011. Thank you. Now I know what you're doing. In your head, you're going, 2011, 2020, boy, this guy is old. It's like, full disclosure, I came as a second career student. So vet school does age you, but it's not going to do this to you, so you're good. Now, this is part of the program where I get to share some of my SGU experiences and offer a little advice to our newest students. So these couple of words are for you and also dedicated to my own class, the class of spring 2011, who together we made it through. So now that you're in vet school, it's time to relax, right? All is good. You always hear the hardest part about vet school is getting in. I'll tell you, the hardest part is getting out. So what do you do with this mountain that's before you, this mountain that has challenged you called vet school? Back when I was a Paws facilitator, yes, we had Paws back then. See? Thanks for carrying on. That's awesome. One of our group discussions during Paws was, what's your favorite motivational quote? And we would get Gandhi's, be the change you want to see in the world. We also got Yoda's, do or do not, there is no try. One year, one of the first termers even said, how about Def Leppard, pour some sugar on me? It's like, wow, that was an interesting group. Personally, I always liked the Chinese proverb that I had come across earlier that I'd share with my class. And that proverb is, those who move mountains begin by carrying away small stones. So let's talk about some of those small stones to get this mountain of vet school accomplished. First of all is dedication. This is a small stone that you already carry or else you wouldn't be here. As the Facebook meme says, lots of people love animals, very few love them enough to take physics, genetics, and OChem. You are dedicated. Organization. So there's 2 stones of organization to be considered. Get organized for class and study, and that is key. If you don't have good study habits, ask for help. Ask each other, ask your upper classmates. Everybody's willing to help you here. Vet school is a lot of information to take in. There's a well-known SGU professor that you'll meet, Dr. Rolf Larson. He's famous for saying, show up 10 minutes early. That's great advice for here, it's great advice for clinics. You will surprise everybody in clinics if you show up 10 minutes early. Dr. Larson would also say random things like, it's all about the corpus luteum and progesterone has 21 carbons. See how that sticks with people? Organization also means get involved and join the schools and clubs. One of the other fallacies that vet students believe is C equals DVM. Oh, don't do that. When the time comes to choose your 4th school, and that's going to be here before you know it, in a blink of an eye, your grade's going to be looked at, your academic record, and your involvement in the school will be looked at. So build your resume and get working on some of those groups. Your classmates, this is a small stone that's fun. Meeting new people is always fun, exciting, challenging. You're going to learn quickly that you're with your classmates always. Class, studying, meals, trips to the beach. These people are always around you. Here's how the evolution of the vet school class seems to work. You guys back me up on this. You would think that right now you're in the honeymoon phase. You're getting to know each other, know your classmates. Paws helps with that. Actually, you're going to realize it's the high school phase. You are back in high school. It's going to be, there's the smart one, there's the pretty one. Oh, that one's kind of bougie. Why would somebody ever wear that? It's high school. Try not to be so judgy. After my first 2 months here, my roommate, yes, I lived in the dorms for one term, my roommate confessed that when we first met, he swore I was Mr. Weasley. I am not Mr. Weasley. He was totally Dudley Dursley, though. You should see the guy. Love him. Okay, then high school turns into acceptance and tolerance, and everybody gets along. Around the fourth term, you get tired of everybody. You're on each other's nerves. That's because you're becoming a family. You're like brothers and sisters who are just tired of each other. Fifth and sixth term, everybody comes together. You're doing surgery, taking care of patients. It's a great time. When you're here, life goes on. You're going to fall in love. You're going to fall out of love. Some of you are going to get engaged on the beach. Always happens. Your classmates will support you through it all, just as mine did when I lost my father during sixth term, and the class was there. Before you know it, it's sixth term, and it is time to say goodbye to your island family, your closest friends, your new family for life. I have to talk about the teachers, the SGU faculty, a world-class faculty. Professors from across the globe are here, not for the beaches, not for their year-round tan. They're here for you. Believe it or not, they're here for you. Your success is their success. Be respectful in class and in labs. Instagram and Facebook can wait until class break. The pair of shoes that sit in your Amazon shopping cart, that can wait till class is over. Amazon doesn't even deliver to the island, so shopping's just not going to do anything for you. These 3 years are critical to the foundation of your medical knowledge. If you want to be a great veterinarian, don't expect to get spoon-fed. There are other ways to learn other than just PowerPoint, so actually read the textbook. When you're doing that material in class, look at the textbook. My other piece of advice, when I look back at my time in class, pay really close attention to physiology. I've told you this, Dr. Zieger. Physiology is everything. You can thank me later. Another small stone to carry is to be open-minded. Vet school at any university is challenging. It's a bigger challenge living in a new country. How do I get all my stuff there? Are they going to have Wi-Fi? Can I log into Netflix? All those important things. When I was at Auburn for clinics, or Eagle, anybody? Yeah, there you go. The students would ask about my island experience. Was it all dirt roads? We heard you had a study by candlelight. I was like, it's not Gilligan's Island. It is a little bit like Survivor, but you'll be fine. On this island, you're part of a diverse community and a diverse class. Be open to learning new ways of thinking, new ways of doing things. First term is toughest as you adapt to your new school life. Some of my classmates from New York were going crazy because of island time. They were like jumping out of their skin. By the second term, they adjusted. When SGU students get to clinics, the feedback from those faculty members is, you island kids are so laid back. And they're very appreciative. Finally, the last small stone is recreation. You're living on an island, get out and play. Vet students have no problem doing this, but don't hibernate in your dorm or your apartment. Get out and enjoy the island. Visit the rainforest, go hashing, get to Fish Friday, come back early and go to Carnival. Meet the people of Grenada. Wonderful, warm people. 4 years are going to pass in the blink of an eye. I know you're sitting there going, I'm just starting. 4 years will be over before you know it. This group will then reconvene in New York. And you'll look at that first handful of small stones that you've carried. Determination, organization, classmates, teachers, open-mindedness, and recreation. And realize that the letters of those first stones spell out what you've grown to become, doctor. Good luck. Okay, we'd like to share a little history of the St. George's University School of Veterinary Medicine with everyone. SGU School of Vet Medicine aims to offer exceptional opportunities for veterinary education and graduate studies for students from an international community, comparable to the finest veterinary programs available in the U.S. or elsewhere. We aim to provide professional services to Grenada and other Caribbean locales while establishing a reputation for research and educational excellence. SGU School of Veterinary Medicine accepted its first class in August 1999 and has accepted 2 classes each year since then. SGU SVM conducts its 1st through 6th term classes on the True Blue campus in Grenada. Students then complete their 4th year clinical training at one of 31 affiliated universities in the US, UK, Canada, Ireland, and Australia. 2005 marked a milestone for the School of Vet Med when the Society of Phi Zeta, the National Veterinary Honor Society, for faculty and students, installed its first international chapter at St. George's University. And to date, SGU SVM has over 1,500 graduates from all over the world, including, are you ready? The US, the UK, Canada, Sweden, Ireland, Trinidad and Tobago, Grenada, Barbados, Bermuda, Jamaica, Venezuela, Russia, Mexico, Colombia, Japan, Lesotho, Portugal, Germany, Botswana, Pakistan, South Africa, and Israel. These graduates are also licensed to practice in 41 states in the US, the UK, Canada, and Grenada. This is big. In September 2011, the American Veterinary Medical Association, Council on Education, announced its full accreditation of the university's Doctor of Veterinary Medicine program for 7 years. The DVM program was reaccredited by the AVMA Council of Education in October 2018 for another 7 years. That was a lot of work, and you can thank your faculty for that and your administration. In 2016, the American Animal Hospital Association, AHA, gave its stamp of approval accrediting the School of Veterinary Medicine's small animal clinic for 2 years, making it the 2nd practice outside of the United States and Canada to earn the distinction. In January 2019, the clinic was reaccredited by AHA through 2022, having earned the full 3-year term for reaccreditation. Following another accreditation process, the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons granted accreditation to the School of Veterinary Medicine in September 2019. This accreditation renders veterinary students who pursue the global veterinary health track here at SGU SVM eligible to practice in the UK after graduation, another huge milestone. SGU SVM continues to strive towards establishing leading-edge veterinary knowledge, expanding its curriculum, and leveraging new technology in the state-of-the-art laboratories and classrooms. It's now my pleasure to welcome to the platform, the podium, Dr. Glenn Jacobs, Provost of St. George's University, who brings greetings from the University Administration. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I stand on the protocol already established. Good morning. Very happy to see all of you here this morning. And I would like to welcome you to St. George's University and this beautiful island of Grenada. A special word of welcome to all the parents, family, and friends present here today. This is a very special day for all of you, and I would like to acknowledge you for what you have done for your student. Now, I am not sure the road you took to get here as a student, and maybe each one of you have a different path that you walked to be here with us today. But I'm sure that those individuals sitting at the back, they have played a big role in getting you here today. Some of you got here on your own, even more credit to you, but some of you got here today with a lot of help. The parents sitting there at the back probably looking at you here today and thinking, I'm not sure what they're thinking. Are they saying, how the heck did they even get here today? That's probably what I would have said to my children, but they're not you, obviously. And then, on the other hand, they might also have, they might be thinking of the challenges that you might have gone through to be here today. So I really want to thank you, parents, and significant others, and friends, and loved ones, for what you have done for your student. So students, I think you can turn around and give your parents, loved ones, a hand of applause. Okay, so students, I'm also very happy to welcome you in person. Now, I will not be addressing you that often, especially not in a group. The next time I probably will speak to you will be during your graduation. It will always be nice for me to speak with you. If you come to my office, there's different reasons students come to my office, but if it's in a positive way, I would really like to see you. So I will also encourage all of you to take time to explore Grenada and to get to know this great community. This is a wonderful place to be. This is a great island, and really enjoy it. Of course, you're going to study, but also live. That is really important. And there's things that you're going to learn on this island that you perhaps have not seen or not known about before. So good luck to you on the island. So as a last thing, I would also just like to welcome our Chancellor and President. We are very fortunate to have both of them here today. It's not that often that we have them at the same time here in Grenada. But before I introduce our President, I just want to ask, and this is a little bit on a personal note, is anybody here from Missouri or Kansas? Go Chiefs. It is now my pleasure to introduce you to the President of St. George's University, Dr. Richard Paws.
Well, good morning, class of 2024. It is my pleasure to address you today. You know, one of the things that I recall often with veterinary school is you have hands down the best orientation of anyone on campus. And the other thing that I think is very striking is of all of the various schools in this university, I think you embrace your time on the island probably the best. And I point to a wonderful thing that almost 2 decades ago, this island was destroyed by a hurricane, and the medical students all got on planes and left, and the veterinary students stayed and took care of the animals on this island. And I think that says a lot about our veterinary school students. Now, in a few minutes, you're going to walk across the stage and get your white coat. I'm afraid I have some bad news for you. When you put on that white coat, you won't be one bit smarter than you are today. On the other hand, you take on a great deal of responsibility when you put on that coat, because as is true of all the healthcare professionals, our society gives special things to healthcare professionals. And in return for that, you have a special responsibility to act professionally, to think always of what's in the best interest of your patients and clients, and to act in the best interest of humanity. Now, you don't know this yet, but I'm actually a tropical disease specialist. I'm not a veterinarian. Although, interestingly, I work in a one health disease, schistosomiasis, a parasitic disease. And as a result of that, I've spent much of my life working in developing countries. And I've often been struck by the fact that many developing countries have among their national heroes healthcare professionals, you know, doctors, nurses, etc. And it's interesting to take a look at why they're national heroes. Now, I'm going to use an example from my own background. I spent 32 years working in the Philippines. The national hero of the country of the Philippines is Dr. Jose Rizal. Dr. Rizal is a physician. I have no idea whether he was a good doctor or not, because he's not the national hero of the Philippines because he was a good doctor. He was a national hero of the Philippines because several hundred years ago, he spoke out against the atrocities committed to his people by the occupying Spanish that occupied his country for 400 years. And for that opposition, he was put in front of a firing squad and shot. Now, I'm not expecting any of you in this audience to go that far for your commitment to humanity. But it does remind us that we have a special responsibility to do more than just take care of our individual clients, the individual patients, the individuals that you meet on a one-on-one basis. All of us as healthcare professionals have a responsibility to think about the entire environment, the community that they live in, yes, and even the planet that we live on. That is a special responsibility that goes to healthcare professionals, and it's a special responsibility you take on when you don that white coat. So I will see you again, undoubtedly 4 years from now when you graduate in New York City, and I am very confident with your outstanding faculty that you will be extremely well-trained veterinarians. But it is my hope that we will graduate at least a few heroes. Thank you and God bless. It is now my distinct honor to welcome to the podium our Chancellor and the founder of St. George's University, Dr. Charles Modica.
I'm a little height challenged, so I'm going to bring this down. There we go. Well, thank you, and good morning, and welcome to the class of 2024, I guess it would be, according to my calculations, hopefully. I'm honored to be here today. I have been remiss, and I missed about 3 white coat ceremonies in a row here in Grenada. And the reason for that is our new president was just appointed about 4.5 years ago, and he came from such a distinguished background that I wanted to kind of step off in the distance a little more in respect to his presidency. He's the first president we've ever had at the university, by the way, and so he's definitely the best. He would have been anyway, even if there were others, believe me. He's been a godsend to the island of Grenada and the university. His background is very modest, but when the state of California decided to have its first new medical school established by the state in 40 years, they chose this gentleman to be its first dean. And he got it through accreditation with the LCME and was looking for the next mountain to climb in his life. And we were fortunate enough to get to know him and bring him down here as our president. And I have such respect for him. And I kind of stepped outside and I said, maybe I won't do white coats for a while. You know, there's too many people talking. They just want to get those coats on to get going. And so you got to put up with me for 5 more minutes because they told me I can come back and welcome you. It means a lot to me personally because I am the founding chancellor. So unlike Dr. Olds, I didn't earn my job. I created my job, you know. Yeah. I was a medical student for a year, dropped out, decided it wasn't for me. Real long story, that'll make it in 30 seconds for you guys. But I came home to my mom who met my dad in Brooklyn. They were second-generation Italians, and if anybody knows how that goes, when you tell your mom in high school you think you want to be a doctor, she goes to Mass the next morning, thanks God, and you have no other choice in life. So when I came home after 1 year in med school and I wish I hadn't, but I passed everything and told her I didn't think I wanted to be a doctor, she took it well for an Italian mother. She only cried for about, I think it was 2 weeks. And then I went on, and my grandfather told me that he could accept this, and it's all right, you'll go to law school. I hadn't thought about going to law school at the time, actually, but I said, absolutely, I'm going to go to law school. And I went to law school. And I was #1 in my freshman class of 300, and I wasn't pre-law to begin with, as we all know already. And the reason I bring that up is after studying human medicine, it's not far off from what you're doing. In fact, you have about 9,999 more species to worry about. After studying human medicine for a year, going to law school is a breeze. It's like reading the Reader's Digest. That's something they had when I was a kid. I don't even know if they still have that for you. But it was really nice. You're reading short stories about a problem and how it was resolved. Essentially, that's the study of law. Yeah, isn't that nice? It's kind of nice. Very little memorization, you know. So I have a lot of respect for you because I know what you're about to go through. You're all capable of going through it, though. That's the key. When the admissions committee and the dean here and all the faculty have decided you are worthy of being a St. George's student, that means something. That means you have it all together, you're ready to go, and we just kind of set you down here in an island that is full of a lot of love and joy and warmth. It really is. And the rest will be easy for you. Would have been difficult for me, but it'll be easy for you. And arriving with Dr. Hansen in Grenada as our white coat speaker, I guess I met him twice in my life. I had probably a white coat that he had, and maybe at graduation in New York City. Shook his hand, but didn't really know him that well. But it was so nice to see somebody, even though he was from Auburn. We talked about that because we were talking about football, and I mentioned that a certain friend of mine is a former very famous professional player who went to Alabama, Roll Tide. And so he took me this past fall, he took me to a football game with him. And I had never been to a college game, but this guy is like a saint of this particular school. And so we were met by the state police, from the airport, private plane, the whole bit. But so I went into the stadium and went on the field with him, and this was like really kind of cool. And I realized the intensity of those rivalries. So I wouldn't have mentioned this particular player if I had known he was from Auburn, because that was a very great rivalry in football. And the good thing about St. George's is that there's very few rivalries down here in Grenada with other schools, because we are part of the AVMA, and we're now accredited in the UK, and we're very close to all the other schools. It's a really good profession for you to be going into, because in your 4th year you'll be experiencing campuses all over the world really right now, and that's an important thing for you and an important thing for those schools to meet you and greet you. And so my only last word of wisdom, so far I probably have had none, by the way, is that you embrace each other. You embrace the human med students too, even though they only have to learn one species. They're still good people, you know. They're not as laid back as you are, I got to tell you. And be proud of the fact that our most beloved pet, Betty, I have to address my wife because she's sitting there saying, you better mention Betty here, is a little Westie. And she had some surgery, the name of which I have no idea. Dr. Hansen knows, we talked about it on the plane, but Betty had something wrong with her knee and whatever, and they had to put a plate and some screws. That's all I know. And the good news was we went to a small animal clinic hospital in Florida where we live, and out of 10 physicians there, 10 veterinarians I should say, there, the one that specialized in this procedure happened to be Dr. Flynn. And I think do you remember Dr. Flynn from down? Yeah. So he's still around. He's in Jupiter, Florida, by the way. And it was so great. Just at random, we got Dr. Flynn, and I look in the brochure of the clinic. I go, oh, my God, St. George's, you know. So for one day of my life, I really impressed my wife, because one of our grads came in. He recognized me, thank God. And we just felt better about the whole thing, you know. So with that, please remember that you should embrace each other. You're going to meet people from different countries, different cultures, different religions, and you're going to be studying here for years with each other while the world finds ways to hate each other. You're in Grenada. You want to find ways to love each other. This is a caring nation. You should care about each other. You should embrace this, enjoy this. This is the icing on the cake studying here in Grenada. And from the Prime Minister, who I met with yesterday morning, we talked about it, and I asked him to come. He couldn't, but he designated the Minister of Agriculture to be here. I'd like him to stand up, if you could, just for a minute, yeah. And he... And he welcomes you to this nation, and you mean a lot to us. You know, the vet school is only half the age of the med school, but it's caught up pretty well, I got to tell you, over these years, and it means a lot to this country and this university that you are here. And God bless you, and I hope to see you at graduation. I'll be the guy in the red, really kind of colorful gown, too colorful, by the way. But you'll get to take a picture of me at the end, and when I tell you how proud of you I am, you'll know I have meant it. Good luck.
Thank you, Dr. Modica, and thank you for your vision of St. George's University. I would now like to invite to the podium the Senior Associate Dean for the School of Veterinary Medicine, Dr. Rolf Larson. Dr. Larson is making remarks on behalf of the Dean, Dr. Neil Olson. Dr. Larson.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Hansen. It is my privilege and my pleasure to welcome you again to St. George's University. To our students, today is your next step along the road of realizing your goal of becoming a veterinarian. Thank you all for being part of this wonderful event, and thanks especially to all the parents and family members who have helped and nurtured this incoming class of veterinary students. This white coat ceremony is a symbol of your entry into the profession of veterinary medicine and a demonstration of your commitment to upholding the code of professional conduct expected of medical professionals. Now, I just used the word professionals. You'll hear a lot about professionalism during our curriculum. Professionalism implies competence, clinical skills, communication skills, good judgment, and wisdom. And wisdom, how did we get to wisdom already? Philosophers and comedians have made up sayings about wisdom for centuries. One of the variations on one of these sayings is attributed to Will Rogers, a cowboy, a humorist, and a movie star during the early 1900s. Will Rogers said, "Wisdom comes from experience, and most of that experience is bad experience." Now that gives us a little jolt of recognition, makes us smile, maybe laugh, if we're not in the middle of one of those bad experiences. But comedians will say anything for a laugh. This famous saying is mostly false. Our reality flips this saying upside down. We look at it this way. Wisdom comes from experience, and most of that experience comes from working with people who know how to get the job done. What are universities and colleges of veterinary medicine for? One thing universities are for is certainly so that you don't have to invent the wheel all over again. You don't have to do things strictly by trial and error and learn from your mistakes. Here, when you're working with people who know how to get the job done, surgery, examining animal patients, diagnosis, treatments, try to absorb everything around it. Not just the technical aspects, but the communication with the people involved, how important it is to care about getting things done right, and the satisfaction of a job well done. Many of your friends and family and the general public think that you are going into veterinary medicine to work with animals. And many of us already in the profession thought the same thing when we started. But now we know that we actually entered a people-oriented profession. Many veterinarians, probably the majority of veterinarians in any typical 10-hour day, will have worked with people almost every minute of those 10 hours. And then simultaneously, of course, worked caring for animals hands-on for 6 or 8 of those 10 hours. In veterinary medicine, almost every minute is a people minute. Understanding that and navigating that is a big part of professionalism. Your success as a veterinarian will have more to do with your interactions with people than any other single variable. So in closing, graduate class of 2024, we look forward to greeting you on your graduation day in New York. We look forward to working with you as future alumni as we navigate the challenges and opportunities that surface in our changing environment. And the experiences you have here at St. George's University will serve to enrich you both personally and professionally. You have all worked diligently to become veterinary medical students. We wish you every success as you strive to excel in the pursuit of the knowledge, skills, and attributes necessary for your career. So best of luck, and I congratulate you on reaching this milestone. But hold on, we're going to talk about applause in just a second. Now it is my distinct pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker today, Dr. Sarah Bailey. Dr. Bailey graduated from the University of Bristol in the United Kingdom and worked in clinical veterinary medicine for many years. She did her PhD in computer science, developing and validating virtual reality simulations for training veterinary students. Recently, Dr. Bailey led a major curriculum review at Bristol Veterinary School. She is passionate about clinical skills teaching and responsible for opening the Clinical Skills Center at Bristol and introducing integrated teaching and assessment throughout their curriculum. Dr. Bailey also works with veterinarians in developing countries to introduce new approaches in clinical skills teaching. She has a diverse portfolio of educational research, including work-based learning, business skills, evidence-based veterinary medicine, mental well-being, and employability. Dr. Bailey, is now an emeritus professor with the University of Bristol. And now I'm going to use the line our dean, Dr. Neil Olson, likes to use in welcoming speakers, celebrities. He likes to say, please join me in welcoming Dr. Bailey with a thunderous round of applause.
So, it's a great pleasure to be here, and I would firstly like to thank the Dean, Dr. Olson, and St. George's University for inviting me to give this keynote address at your White Coat ceremony. It was an honor to accept that invitation, and it's a real pleasure to be here with you today on this very special day. Firstly, I would like to say to the students sitting here, congratulations on getting your place here at St. George's. It's a great university and veterinary school. I also know it's been no mean feat for you to get here, how much work it will have involved, and you should feel rightly proud of yourselves. I also see many of your friends and family here, and that's wonderful. I know they will also be very proud of you. And as other people have said, I'm absolutely sure they've been on the journey with you so far, been an important part of getting you here. They're also going to be an important part of your support network over the next 4 years and as you go on into the profession. So I thought I'd start by telling you a little bit about my background, and we've got a presentation because I'm going to show you some pictures of the journey that I have been on. And it may represent some of what you go on to do. I've had some fantastic opportunities, and I know you will as well. So I'm a veterinarian, and I come from the UK. The accent may have been a bit of a giveaway. But I've also been very fortunate to develop an association with St. George's University over the last few years. And that's led me to work with people here on curriculum, teaching initiatives, but also on educational research, which is something that I'm very passionate about. That's something that informs the way we teach and how we can prepare you better. And actually, just before Christmas, we heard that we have a new grant that's funding us to develop a new teaching initiative around evidence-based veterinary medicine. And that's a collaborative grant funded by the Royal College of Veterinary Surgeons Trust. It's a big international group that'll be working on it, including people from St. George's. So I'm really looking forward to continuing to work with people here. I've also worked with the teams here on faculty development workshops and also on accreditation. And as already been mentioned, you may not have been aware, but St. George's has both American Veterinary Medical Association accreditation and Royal College accreditation from the UK. Now that actually makes St. George's unique in the world. So the only country or only university in the Western Hemisphere on this side of the Atlantic to have both those accreditations. So what that says to me is how well respected this university and your DVM program is internationally. So that's quite an achievement from the people here. I'd also like to say how impressed I've been with the people here at St. George's. So that's your professors and also the support staff. They're very friendly, and also they work incredibly hard to support their students and ensure that you will develop the skills that allow you to go on and succeed in your professional lives. I'm quite convinced that when you graduate, you will be able to compete and hold your own among the very best of the best in our profession. Well, as I said, I come from the UK and I'm a veterinarian. I worked in clinical practice for about 20 years before I went into academia. And I absolutely love being in clinical practice. I expect that's probably where most of you are going to start. It's an absolutely fantastic job. I really look forward to going into work every single day. And actually, I've since realized that that's not a given. So not every person or every profession can say that they look forward to going into work every single day. So that's a real privilege for us, I think, that we can say that every day. Well, nearly every day, anyway. But I'm actually now going to go back to the beginning. So, apparently I was about 3 or 4 when I said to my family that I wanted to be a veterinary surgeon. I'm not sure that I put it quite as articulately as that, but apparently that's what I said. And I expect that quite a few of you here, whether it's the veterinarians on faculty or yourself as students, may also have made that decision quite early. Yeah, I see a few people nodding. So the other thing I think you can see in this picture is the kind of determination that it takes to get to veterinary school. So I did work hard at high school and I got my place at the University of Bristol in the southwest of the UK. I was always keen to be a cattle veterinarian, so I was brought up on a dairy farm, always loved cows. And again, if you look closely at this picture, one thing I was going to have to learn was how to get my boots on the correct feet if farmers were going to take me seriously. There are other challenges doing cattle work, but that was one I was going to have to correct. So I did get my degree and I went on and I've had so many opportunities through this degree. I see it like a vet passport, if you like. So it led me into clinical practice, gave me many opportunities, some I expected and some I didn't. And it will also give you lots of opportunities. Again, some you expect and some that you probably don't. So, as I say, I went into clinical practice, and my first job was in a mixed practice in the south of England. Really enjoyed it, looked forward to going into work every day. What maybe also helped was it was in a really pretty part of the world. This is the Cotswolds in the south of England. And I remember when I was going for my interview and I was driving up the main street, which is the top left of that photo. I came to the top of the main street and there's this 12th century semi-ruined abbey and all these other lovely vistas of this town. I'm thinking, this'll do. You better do your interview well today, girl. Luckily I did and I got that job. But in my day, we didn't get much training for that part of our role. So I had no training for interviews, preparing for jobs and that sort of thing. Whereas now I can say that your curriculum has a really good professionalism course in it. Other people have mentioned professionalism, and it's so important to your success. So you will get training on how to prepare for your job, how to do interviews, how to develop your career, and that is absolutely crucial, really, really important thing. You'll be much better prepared than I was, I think. So initially I did work in practice. I worked in a large mixed practice, and I did a bit of everything. So I did cats and dogs, and horses, and cows. I'm pretty sure that one on the left is not a horse. And the one on the right is a genuine case, okay? So when I sometimes use this photo for high school students, I would get 2 questions at this point. The first one is, did you Photoshop it? And no, I didn't. That's a real clinical presentation. The second one is, does she need the restroom? But actually, this is a classic presentation of a fractured toe in a cow. So they limp along, and when they stop, to take the weight off the damaged toe, they cross their legs. Okay? And actually they do quite well because the hoof acts as a plaster cast. So these kind of fractures do actually heal quite well. And then I have a picture of another case. This was quite an unusual case, in fact, very challenging for me. I couldn't work out what was going on here. effectively in veterinary practice, I think what this illustrates is you never quite know what you're going to see or what's going to come through the door. But that's part of the fun of it. So this one is a 5-year-old Angora goat. She's not eating, anorexic, low body condition, so 1.5 out of 5. And her abdomen, particularly the rumen, which is the stomach in ruminants like this, was very firm. And I was totally stumped, as were my colleagues. I had absolutely no idea what this was. So sometimes what you have to do is effectively go in and take a look. All right, so that's what we did. But the other thing about our patients compared to human patients is they come in such a range, not just species, but also weights. So this goat is in our consulting room standing on the weighing scales, okay? So we're going to get an accurate weight. But again, if you look closely, much as I might like not to have both feet on the weighing scales when I weigh myself, it's a good idea to have your patient properly on the scales, okay? Probably also better not to take a picture of your error. So we did get her accurately weighed, and we operated on her. And this is a very unusual case. It's something called trichobasors, which are hairballs. And this goat's stomach or rumen was completely full of these hard balls. So in the UK, or probably Grenada, we would say cricket balls. But for the US audience, I think we'd probably say baseballs. So they're about 3 inches and a leathery coat. Quite extraordinary. And by the way, she hadn't eaten baseballs. Okay, she'd actually been over-grooming. The hair had formed in her stomach and then formed this leathery coating, and was so full of these she couldn't actually eat. There was no space for any food. So she actually recovered very well, and it did indeed go on to live into old age. So as I say, you never know what is going to come through the door. You will use all the skills that you develop, your reasoning skills, to work out what is going on, and the surgical skills, hopefully, to put it right. But as well as these unusual cases, what I used to really enjoy is the cases that come in every day. So we're going to get vaccinations and health checks. And actually, those are just as important to the owners. You know, they can be worried about, is their animal okay or not? Just as important as what we see as the difficult cases. So actually being able to work with both the difficult cases and these everyday cases is a really important part of our job, and also a really important service that we can give to the owners. But unfortunately, 20 years in the profession, really enjoying this, and I get a bit of a sideways blow. I got a really bad back injury. I couldn't work for a year. I couldn't drive for a year. So this was pretty serious. I did get back to full-time work. I'm the kind of person who doesn't like to be beaten by many things. But the sensible part of me was saying, do you know, this is not the greatest job for somebody who's got a really bad back. So what I did was I actually decided to retrain. And to cut a long story short, I chose computer science rather than veterinary medicine. Okay, so going into computer science, do a PhD. And in spite of that, I was actually able to continue to use my vet passport. So I managed to combine veterinary medicine, so all that the skills I brought to it, and computer science. So I was trying to solve a problem. And this is a teaching problem that I thought a computer simulation might be able to solve. So just to explain to people what this problem is. So veterinarians will put their hand inside a cow to diagnose pregnancy, fertility problems, etc. But when I put my hand in, the student can't see what I'm doing. So how are you guys going to learn anything from me? You can't copy me because you can't see what I'm doing. Usually gainfully students will have a go, okay? But then I can't see what you're doing. So how am I going to help you, give you any feedback, tell you what to do? Okay? So I call it like a black box of teaching this. It's really difficult to learn and really difficult to teach. You add into this something called expert tacit knowledge. Now, there are lots of experts in the room. Prepare yourself for a little bit of coming down. because experts aren't always the best teachers. So a student might ask me, so how do you find the uterus in a cow? Well, to me, it's there. Yeah? Just, okay, so I say, well, it's there. All right? Again, you will have a go. You will try. Probably not find anything, so you'll ask me again. Now, I'm a very enlightened sort of teacher. What do? Well, and I can hear myself doing it, I actually say, it's there, with a bit more emphasis, at which point many people actually start nodding. So it seems like it works. But if we're actually being realistic about this, there has to be a better way of doing this. This is not a good way to teach, and it's not easy for you to learn. So this is where the computer science came in. And so this is where the computer science came in. So what I did was I programmed a virtual reality robot to create the insides of a cow. So the uterus, ovaries, even the aorta, which is pulsing. So the student interacting with that robot can now feel the inside of a cow. It's virtual reality, so it's kind of not there, but the robot gives you the impression that it's there. But now, for me as a teacher, I can see what you're doing on the computer monitor, so I can actually say, yeah, come down a bit, that's where the uterus is. And yes, that's the uterus because your hand's on it, and this is how you move your hand. So it can actually make quite a difference to the teaching. That said, I am still a veterinarian at heart, not a programmer, and it took me about 5 years to program C++ to take a robot and make it into a cow. We also did some filming with the BBC. The BBC got hold of this. British Broadcasting Corporation wanted to film it, which was a lot of fun. And as often happens with organizations like that, they want a photo shoot. So they suggested we go out in the field. It is a computer simulator, I tried to argue, but of course a field looks better if it's a cow simulator. What also happened was one of the cows did come up and take a look. So this is not photoshopped either, okay? I think because I have a degree in computer science, people think I might Photoshop photos, but this is genuine. So she did come over and have a look, and I think she actually gave us her vote of approval. So that's how I sort of started my journey into education, trying to solve a problem that I had seen when I was trying to teach students, try and make this better. I was fortunate to get involved in a lot of other educational projects. That's my real passion, is doing educational work. And then after a few years, I actually got headhunted to go back to my alma mater. So my vet passport then took me truly into academia. And this time I was being asked to lead a major curriculum review at Bristol. We have a split campus, so the first few years are in the city, and then there's a rural campus just south of the city in Somerset, very pretty campus. And what we did was we designed a new curriculum, and I used the metaphor of a local, quite famous bridge to represent the journey that students would be on. So we were going to take you across that bridge and out into the profession, designing it very much from where we thought you needed to be, so designing it backwards, if you like, or outcomes-based, as your curriculum is here. So we start with the healthy animal, then disease mechanisms and so on, and then the clinical management of many, many cases. And this is now underpinned both by clinical skills and, as Dr. Larson mentioned, also the professionalism, which is so important in a modern curriculum. So this actually took me 5 years it was a lot of work and a great team of people to lead. And as from 2017, I am actually retired. So I have an emeritus professorship with the University of Bristol. What it's turned out, though, and there may be some people who are retired in the audience or thinking about it, retired is actually just another form of busy. Okay? And I think in some respects it's a better form of busy because you get to do what you want to do instead of what you have to do. But anyway, it's actually great because it gives you opportunities. It's given me opportunities now not just to work in the UK, but I actually work all around the world. So my vet passport has now literally become a passport, as yours might. And it takes me all around the world. So I'm working with veterinarians, teachers, and students all around the world, doing collaborative educational research projects, but also running workshops, doing accreditation, helping people with new curricula, and going literally all around the world. So I'm just going to show you some of my favorites from that, because, as has been mentioned, I am passionate about clinical skills teaching, not just the haptic cow, but many, many other simulators and models to help you learn the skills that you need. So here are a couple of workshops I did last year. The one on the top is in Bangladesh, and we had 8 veterinary schools there and 1 from Sri Lanka. And what we were doing is introducing new approaches to clinical skills teaching so that their students can now learn on models before live animals. The faculty were incredibly enthusiastic, so we had a lot of people there. They really engaged in all the work we were doing. And the photo sort of in the middle of that group is the students now learning surgical skills on models in the very first clinical skills lab in that part of the world. So from a veterinary degree to actually bringing about change in all sorts of countries. The image at the bottom is of another workshop in Thailand. So we had 10 veterinary schools there, also really keen to learn about how to teach and assess clinical skills using models and skills labs more in education. You'll get that a lot here, but don't take it for granted that other students will be as fortunate as you are. However, one thing that was really interesting about the vet school, our host veterinary school in Bangkok, we had a tour of their small animal hospital. It's a 5-story building, okay? It's like a human hospital. And they get nearly 500 patients through the door every day. So it was incredibly impressive, incredibly impressive. So again, going around the world, you see so much. You can use your veterinary degree to do your veterinary work in practice, but you never know where it's going to take you. I certainly did not expect to be going to Bangladesh or Thailand, or even a couple of other places I've been. So this is some equine work. So the one on the left is working with a horse and donkey charity that's based in North Africa, Africa, and the Middle East. And what we were doing there was training them to make silicone skin so that they can make models and train veterinarians and students to suture wounds on a model, again before doing it on donkeys or horses. The one on the right is in Australia, and this one's slightly poignant. This was last year, because part of what we did, I was there mainly for curriculum and accreditation, but one day we went out with rural volunteer firefighters, and we were training them to rescue animals, which of course has become very, very important in Australia recently. So, my favourite place in the world, though, and I'm not just saying this because I'm here, I just love Grenada. It is, and St. George's. It's such a great place, such a great university. I think I've been here 5 times now, and I sincerely hope I will be coming back again. It is there we go. So it's a beautiful country, beautiful island. The people here are rightly proud of this country and of this university, really proud of it. They're very friendly, helpful people. And it's a beautiful place. So do get out and see it. Do enjoy it. Try and get that balance between enjoying the island and your studies. That's not just for the next 4 years, but getting that balance right, in my experience, will set you up really well for your careers and for life. So, I've had a wonderful career, so many opportunities. I absolutely loved being a clinician in practice. I really enjoyed working with people and animals. My career was cut short in that area, but then I was able to go on and become an educational researcher. And through that, I can actually affect change and improve ways that we teach you. But I have to say, at the heart of me, throughout all of this, I've always loved being a teacher and working with students, so working with people like yourselves. And I know the faculty who will be teaching you here are very much of that mindset. So, congratulations on getting your place here. Great achievement, great university. Good luck. It will be tough at times, but I'm quite confident that you will do well, go out in the profession, and make St. George's very proud of all of you. I'd like to just finish with a quote from Aileen Cust. And she was born in County Tipperary in Ireland. She trained as a nurse initially in London and then did veterinary medicine in Edinburgh in the 1890s. And the reason I use this quote is I think her sentiment very much reflects what I wish for you. Uh-oh. Did I? There we go. Yep. So, my wish for you is that you will all feel, as I do after a lifetime, that the profession you have chosen is the best profession in the world. So, thank you for listening. I'm looking forward to enjoying the rest of your white coat ceremony with you. Good luck. Enjoy the profession as much as I have done. You're very fortunate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Bailey. What an amazing career. And thanks for your words of encouragement. Based on the recommendations made by the AVMA, our school introduced a professional course for the incoming class, and its first component, a 2-day professional attributes workshop called Paws, was recently completed. A slideshow from this term's Paws will be shown later in the ceremony. Oh, it's coming, hold on. It is benefiting that after completing this professionalism workshop, you are officially welcomed into the Veterinary Society. The white coat serves as a symbol of professionalism and to welcome each of you to the veterinary medical profession. SGU-SVM will now present you with a white coat. It symbolizes your entry into the profession and your commitment to uphold the duties of the profession. Robing at the white coat ceremony is considered to be an honor and must be pre-approved. To assist the keynote speaker, Dr. Sarah Bailey, and myself with robing, I now invite to the stage Dr. Rolf Larson, Senior Associate Dean, School of Veterinary Medicine, Dr. Mohammed Bayat, Associate Dean of Students, School of Veterinary Medicine, Dr. Stacy Byers, Associate Professor, Large Animal Medicine and Surgery Department, School of Veterinary Medicine, and a friend, mentor, and the person who single-handedly got me through fifth-term surgery, Dr. Adria Rodriguez, Assistant Dean of Students, School of Vet Medicine. In recognition of our international enrollment, Dr. Lucianne Peters, Assistant Professor in the Small Animal Clinic, will call each student by name and state their country of birth. Please hold your applause until all students have been robed. For safety, we ask that the audience to kindly remain seated and not interrupt the ceremony by taking pictures in the forward section of the hall. Thank you for your cooperation.
Riley Burrows, Texas, USA. Violetta Gonzalez, New York, USA. Samantha Hoover, Canada. Lauren Fleming, Illinois, USA. Caitlin Courtney, Florida, USA. Victoria Grant, Florida, USA. Samantha Scott, Texas, USA. Yanine Vettergren, Florida, USA. Amanda Rotman, Michigan, USA. Elizabeth Martin, Pennsylvania, USA. Margaret Kovac, New York, USA. Heidi Beck, Arizona, USA. Allison Bradley, North Carolina, USA. Mahathi Pentavali, New Jersey, USA. Cara Vaughan, Maryland, USA. Karis Lawrence, Military Pacific, USA. Antonia Nickelberry, Texas, USA. Taylor Neely, Texas, USA. Tori Doty, Maine, USA. Ali Setzer, North Carolina, USA. Alexandra Markman, Maryland, USA. Sydney Spampamato, North Carolina, USA. Kehan Cave, California, USA. Justin Corner, South Carolina, USA. Kenneth Weinbaugh, Illinois, USA. Raina LeBlanc, Louisiana, USA. Emily Gardner, California, USA. Madeline Kruger, Illinois, USA. Allison Kearney, California, USA. Kobe Gilbo, South Carolina, USA. Oh. You can take it, you can take it right now. And we have Kobe Gilbo from South Carolina, USA, being coached by his sister. Surgeon Jennifer June, California, USA. Carmina Crachun, Washington, USA. Chantal Coutu, Canada. Erica Husal, California, USA. Andrew Yakub, California, USA. Sarah Miner, Washington, USA, being quoted by Dr. Eileen Rowan and Dr. Bob Ryan, Dean of Admissions, her grandparents. Madeline Montine, Illinois, USA. Ariel Kilpatrick, USA. Cynthia Ortega, Florida, USA. Haley Geezer, Washington, USA. Arlene Spivak, Pennsylvania, USA. Becky Vegan, Ohio, USA. Becky Vegan, Ohio, USA. Ashley Emmett, Wisconsin, USA. Sharzad Mesbah, California, USA. Megan Gilmore, Pennsylvania, USA. Valerie Savino, Texas, USA. Emily Barron, Rhode Island, USA. Brianna Aquino Moreta, Florida, USA. Courtney Glotza, Florida, USA. Brianna Kinsey, Texas, USA. Brittany Nguyen, California, USA. Alexa Cameron, Missouri, USA. Jayant Singh, India. Christians Rivers, Maryland, USA. Leandra Margolis, New Jersey, USA. Abigail Abby Wolebski, Illinois, USA. Peyton Dillon, Texas, USA. Alexandra Garrett, New Jersey, USA. Shannon Miller, Michigan, USA. Shayna Ray DuBose, New Jersey, USA. James Mason, Alabama, USA. Gabriela Fontanes, Puerto Rico. Tavia Watkins, New Jersey, USA. Angela Michael, Florida, USA. Taryn Packett, Florida, USA. Kevin Hubble, Texas, USA. Evan Thorpe, Pennsylvania, USA. Sean Anderson, Indiana, USA. Stephanie Smick, Illinois, USA. Nicole Jennings, New York, USA. Stephanie Ho, California, USA. Brianna Lee Schaefer, Florida, USA. Daria Ehrenberg, Michigan, USA. Mallory Roses, Florida, USA. Lauren Mitchell, Texas, USA. Hope Reichel, California, USA. Letty Bonilla, California, USA. Cameron Lorica, he's been quoted by his father, who is a veterinarian, Dr. Noel Lorica. Shannon Vallone. Shannon is being co-quoted by Dr. Larson and her mother, Dr. Maureen Vallone, who is a doctor of pharmacy. Daisy Saavedra, California, USA. Erin Maud, New York, USA. Alexi Lefebvre, New York, USA. Acacia Johnson, Oregon, USA. Michelle Mordecai, Florida, USA. Kendra Renblum of Minnesota, USA. She's been quoted by her parent, Dr. Stephen Renblum, who is also a veterinarian. Shelley Crenshaw, Texas, USA. Abigail Stape, Pennsylvania, USA. Chelsea Wilson, Pennsylvania, USA. Carly Vicks, Michigan, USA. Elise Gutierrez, Texas, USA. Emily Hughes, Louisiana, USA. Melissa Ballantine, Colorado, USA. Matthew Stark, New Jersey, USA. Marisol McFarland, Arizona, USA. Kendra Pahalik, Alberta, Canada. Kimberly Williams, Virginia, USA. Brittany Shane, Minnesota, USA. Sarah Schechtman. She is a Connecticut resident. Samuel Rook, Wisconsin, USA. Perry Jacob, New York, USA. Peter Arena, New York, USA. Michelle Almodovar, Florida, USA. Charlene Kriegsman, New Jersey, USA. Cassidy Leon, Florida, USA. Autumn Silva, Texas, USA. Samantha Bachelor, Jamaica. Alika Roberts, Grenada. Celine Hostin, Grenada. Donnell Blesdell, Grenada. Ivana Ephraim, Barbados. Again, Ivana Ephraim, Barbados.
I now invite Dr. Aaron Werners, professor in the Anatomy, Physiology, and Pharmacology Department, to lead the students in reciting aloud the professional commitment listed near the back of your program.
Good morning. Students of the class of 2024, will you please stand? All veterinarians in the room, can you also please stand? And then please recite with me. Being accepted into the profession of veterinary medicine, I solemnly swear to further my knowledge and skills for the benefit of society through the protection of animal health, the relief of animal suffering, the conservation of animal resources, the promotion of public health, and the advancement of medical knowledge. I will conduct my studies conscientiously, with dignity and in keeping with the principles of veterinary medical ethics. Accept my responsibility to assist my colleagues to achieve our mutual goals. Acknowledge my obligation to adhere to the university's honor code and conduct myself with integrity and in an ethical manner at all times. It is a privilege to have been given the opportunity to become a veterinarian. I will never abuse it. Congratulations. All boxes ticked.
Thank you, Dr. Werners. As you've heard, the incoming class has just completed a professional attributes workshop known as Paws. Aside from your technical veterinary skills, Paws focuses on the development of those life skills needed for success: communication, teamwork, and professionalism. To be a successful veterinarian, you will need to have excellent people skills. I've always been told no dog or cat has a Visa or MasterCard. You do have to work with people. You need to be a responsible member of a team and also need to become a servant leader. Without these skills, we will fail to fulfill our veterinary obligation to be an advocate for those who cannot speak for themselves, our animal patients, and to use our skills for the benefit of society. The Paws student facilitators will now share some of this experience with you through a special presentation.
Na 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 na.
Thank you again for coming.